losing weight is a goal that we have all probably had at some point in our life in some way or another, whether that's to lose a couple of pounds or a couple of kilos or to transform our health and fitness altogether. But it's also something that everyone has probably struggled with or failed at achieving the goal that they originally set themselves, whether that was to not get all the way to that final goal that you set yourself, or you've lost faith along the way and given up altogether. In this video, I'm going to break down the basics of how to lose weight and go through some of the key tools that I use to help people in their weight loss journey. Hi, I'm Tom. I'm a personal trainer and a coach, and I help people to achieve their health and fitness goals. And one of my big achievements this year with one of my clients was helping them to lose over 20 kilos in weight. So weight loss is something that we've all probably wanted to work towards, whether that is changing how we look and improving our self-confidence, whether that's to improve our health and improve our fitness, or just to improve the quality of our life. Losing weight is a goal that we can probably all relate to in some time, but the main thing is that you're doing it for the right reasons, that you want to do it to improve your health in some way. And that's the key thing to take away from this video. Don't lose weight if it's going to do you any more harm. And if you're not sure, consult a GP or a medical professional. But one of the key reasons that I will always encourage people to be at a healthy weight, and if that requires you to lose weight, then that's what this video is there to help with. But it's also what medical professionals and other healthcare professionals will encourage, because of the downsides and the negative effects of having an unwanted amount of excessive unwanted body fat. Now, that can be measured by certain different things, but the easiest way to track it is your BMI and your waist measurements. But the BMI is going to be anything over 30 on the BMI, and that is just a measurement of how much you weigh compared to your height. It's quite a simple one. You can go online, you can Google it, and if you put in your height and your weight, and it'll tell you what your weight is. Now, if you've got a level 30 and above, that puts you into the obese categories. And if you're at that point, or anyone at that point, they're going to have an increased risk of certain illnesses and diseases, such as heart disease, hypertension and high blood pressure, osteoarthritis, type 2 diabetes, and other illnesses to go through without listing them all. But doesn't necessarily mean that you will get these, but the higher your body fat percentage and amount, the greater the risk of having those illnesses. And that's obviously going to impair or hold you back in your daily life. They're kind of the extreme versions. But just the daily stuff that you're probably going to be suffering with is general stuff like general fatigue and low energy, struggling to move, getting up the stairs while getting out of breath, struggling to keep up the grandkids or your friends and family around you, and suffering with headaches and colds more regularly than people that are in shape and look after their health. All of this comes down to reduce your quality of life. But on the flip side, if you then reverse your body weight, you can reverse the effects they have on yourself. Now, to be clear, there is a healthy range in your BMI to aim to, and that's between 20 and 25. Yes, your BMI has this stigma about it where it's a case of taking into account athletes and bodybuilders, and they're going to have different BMIs. But if you are that kind of person, you probably understand that a little bit more. So you can take your BMI with a pinch of salt. But it has been proven that for the everyday person, your BMI is a good indicator of your health in relation to your body weight and body fat. Now, before we get into the ins and outs, let's just understand what body fat is. Body fat is a way that your body stores energy for later use. Your body requires so much energy to live and function. And even the bare minimum of just beating your heart and breathing, circulating the blood around your system, and the way that your brain functions, all requires energy. There's literally a minimum required to keep your body alive. And if you don't meet that, and your body hasn't got that, things start to go wrong. Now, that energy we measure in calories, which you might have heard of before. And that's all calories are. Calories are a measure of energy used in the body that we get from our food. Most people instantly hear calories and start to I don't know, get scared, get anxious, get worried. It is just a measure of energy, and we'll get to more on that later. But what happens is your body takes in the energy, and what happens is you will be using that energy throughout the day, and it becomes a bit of a simple maths equation. The calories that you use for the day will then dictate what happens to the energy that gets taken in. If you say, for a nice round number, say you burn 2,000 calories in a day. If you've eaten 2,000 calories in a day, that equation then balances out to zero. Calories burned minus calories in equals zero. That means that you are in a calorie balance. So you won't lose weight or put weight on because your body hasn't got any extra to store as body fat. But if your calories burnt minus your calories taken in is a negative number, i.e. you've put more calories into your body than you have used, whatever is left, your body will store as body fat for later use. Why? Because it has got to, or it has evolved and learned that it needs calories to survive. So the more it has, the more likely it's going to survive, the more likely you're going to live. So it's a good thing to keep those calories around. The problem is, in this modern lifestyle and society we've created, there isn't quite a need for that as much as we needed, but it's still there. So with easy access to food and more sedentary lifestyle, we'll say, sitting down at the job, sitting at a desk, getting in the car, driving to work, even taking the lift instead of the stairs. All these things work to make it easier to store calories, which is what leads to you increasing the amount of body fat you have over time. Now, the other side of the equation is when you have less calories coming in than the calories you'll burn. So again, if you've burnt 2,000 calories that day, but you've only taken in, say, 1,600, you're now in a 400 calorie deficit of what your body needs. Where's it going to get those calories? From your body reserves, your body fat. And this is actually how you lose weight. You put your body into a negative amount of calories for the day, and it takes them away from your body reserves, almost taking a withdrawal out of the bank. It's like having savings, except this time we don't want any savings. We actually want to dip into them. So that's how you actually use up your body fat and burn it away, as the phrase goes. And that is the goal of weight loss, or the key is that you need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to be using more calories in your daily activity than you are consuming in your food. And that's a simple fact of it. There are a handful of medical exemptions, but if you are genuinely in a calorie deficit, hand on heart, total honest truth, you know you're in a calorie deficit and you're not losing weight, go see your doctor. Okay, that's the only other solution that you have at this moment. But most people aren't honest with what they're eating, okay, and we'll go into that a little bit later. But the two main factors that are going to affect your calorie deficit and help you to achieve that outcome, which then leads to you losing weight and body fat, is how many calories you're burning and how many calories you're taking in. And then it leads to that end equation of, are you in a positive or negative amount of calories? Now, the first one we'll go through is calories in. That is through your food. You consume food, it gets broken down, and then it gets put into your body. That is the first part that you can control. You can control how many calories that you eat in a day. Now, this comes down in many different forms. You can diet, you can track your calories, you can avoid certain foods. But at the end of the day, controlling your calories in is actually one of the easier ways, or it's the easier side of the equation for you to lose weight, because it's easy to control how many calories you're taking in. It's slightly harder to control calories going out, and I'll explain more of that later. But another coach made a really good point to me before, and he basically said that all diets work, not because they're the missing secret that everybody needs or that person needs, but it's because all diets make you actually look at the food you're eating and control it. If you're on a carnivore diet and you're only eating meat, you're going to look at your food and say, is that meat? Is it not? Am I going to eat it? Same if you're on a keto diet, you're going to be, well, I'm not eating any carbs because I'm on the keto, so is that carbs? What's in that food? Can I eat it? Now, you don't have to be on a specific diet. You can do that in general of just tracking your food and understanding, or sorry, not tracking your food, just checking your food, being aware of what you're eating, being aware of what effect it can have on you. I'm not going to break down the individual different habits and tactics that you can use, because that'll be for another video and that'll make this one way too long. But it's that idea of being aware of what you're eating. My girlfriend, she lost over 10 stone, and she actually told me that she tried every diet out there. She even tried what she called the soup diet, which I couldn't imagine anything worse. But she says that she tried everything and nothing worked for her. It wasn't until she just learnt to read the back of labels on foods to understand what was in it and what she was eating that she truly started to make genuine change. And she's lost 10 stone, and she's now a size 4 consistently. Okay, but it just goes to show, and it just proves that it hasn't got to be a magic trick. It's just being aware and taking account of the foods you eat and what you put in your body in alignment to the goals that you want to achieve. And that's a very important thing to understand. The other side of the equation is calories out. Now, this is the measure of how many calories you're going to burn through the day. Now, like I said, there's a bare minimum amount of calories your body will burn to keep you alive. That is, if you imagine waking up to your alarm and you don't move a muscle, you don't move from that position for the entire day, for 24 hours, your body is still going to burn so many calories. This is different from person to person, all unique to us all. But this is the calories it requires to beat your heart, to breathe and take in air, to circulate blood around your body, to keep your brain functioning, and to basically stop you from dying. It keeps you alive. It is the bare minimum to be alive. And that can vary from anyone. And that can be anything up to, like, say, 1800 or 2000 calories. Now, this is actually going to be the biggest chunk of the calories you can burn in a day, minus something like running a marathon or doing some extreme event. And that is why it's quite hard to lose extra weight solely from burning calories. Okay, you might have heard that phrase, trying to out-train a bad diet. It is doable in the extremes. Most people watching this video won't be at that level. Okay, don't think that because you had a bad night that you can go for a run the next day and burn it off. It will help, but it's the culmination of both exercise and good diet and control that come together to make the best outcome. And that's the problem, is that you can only do so many calories of moving a day. But one of the keys to that calorie burn through the day and how to get more out of it to help your weight loss goals is your daily step count. Now, your daily step count isn't technically anything special. It's just a measure of how active you are through the day. Someone who walks 10,000 steps is twice as active as someone who walks 5,000 steps. And you can imagine that person who does twice the amount of steps is going to be burning more calories and more likely to stay in a controlled calorie measurement, because they may not be trying to lose weight. Okay, try not to be specific on this. But if they were trying to lose weight, walking twice the amount of steps is going to help. Now, each person has, again, their own step count that they can really work towards. More is better, but at the same time, doing as much as you can is a place to start, whether that is 5, 6, 7,000 steps. And I'll put a whole video together on activity going forwards. But the idea being is, after your daily calorie requirement, also known as your basal metabolic rate, BMR, your daily non-exercise activity is also going to be the next level in how many calories you burn. Doing a HIIT workout or training or doing a gym session is probably going to only burn up to an additional 200 to 300 calories on top of what you would burn in that hour anyway. Your watch is going to tell you that you burnt 600 calories in an hour, but if you tracked it without doing exercise, you're probably still going to burn about 200 to 300, again, just generally moving around or just staying alive. So it's not a large amount in comparison to what you've already done. And that's kind of where it comes into this big part of combining both. Combine both controlling your food and controlling your activity level. Doing regular exercise is going to help. And combining that with good food and good nutrition is the best way to go about it. But if you're struggling to lose weight, you probably are trying to either do too much, you're overwhelming yourself, and you're not doing either one of those in a good place, or you're just not doing barely anything at all because you're not used to doing anything, and that little bit you're doing is more than you're used to. The keys to going forward is to really start taking accountability and also awareness of who you are and what you're doing day-to-day life. One of the easiest ways to start is to simply not start tracking calories, but just start tracking what you do on a day-to-day basis. And a great one that I do with people, when I get a new client in and they're trying to lose weight, I won't ask them to track calories. I will get them to send me a food diary in the form of pictures. I will get them to take a picture and WhatsApp to me at the end of the day or as they take that picture. Then at the end of the day or at the end of the week, I can then take all that information and then we discuss it. That isn't to shame or to, talk down to anyone about the foods they're eating. You get that information in, you look at it and you think, what is good food? What is maybe not so good food? What can I change? What can I avoid? What can I add in? Because that's the start. It isn't about doing something extreme. It's about starting to make small change going forwards. And some of the easy ones are such as cutting out junk food, cutting out alcohol, sugar, chocolate, biscuits, cakes, fast foods, eating more healthier foods. Another one is to start planning your meals. Knowing what you're going to eat beforehand takes away the choice of making a not so good choice, we'll say. Okay, a bad choice. You start to think, what am I going to eat for dinner tonight? And it becomes, oh, I don't know, I've not got time, I'm going to order pizza or I'm going to get takeaway. Not a great choice. So planning ahead is going to help you. And also understanding how active you are. Tracking your daily step count is a great way to figure out how active you are at the moment. It helps you understand if you should be doing more or if you could be doing more. And then you can, again, plan that going forwards. Can you plan in the next 10-15 minute walk in a day? It might not seem like much, but if you're not doing even 5,000 steps in a day, going for a 10-15 minute walk is going to bump that up. It's going to help you start moving more and burning more calories. And as you get better at doing that, you can do more. You then start going for longer walks. You then maybe start running a little bit. You may need to join the gym. You might do some exercise. But it all starts from small daily habits that go forwards. And this is something that I am big advocate for, and this is one of the big tools that I use for people, is start tracking your daily work and start reflecting on it. Your step count is a really good and easy way to start. Start tracking your steps. Set your daily step count and see how many days you hit that in a row. Because once you hit 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row of your daily step count, tracking your food, avoiding chocolate, you start to get a streak going and you start to create habits that help you move towards your goals. And then you also start becoming the person that actually is achieving that goal you set yourself and achieving that weight loss. It helps you move forward from the person you were to the person that you need to become to achieve your goals. Now, I'm aware there's quite a bit of information in that video, but I hope it helps you understand more about what your body fat is, why you have gained that in the first place, and how you can then start to implement the actions you need to take forwards to lose weight and hit your goals. The videos I'm going to put out there are all about improving your health and your fitness to improve your mindset, your lifestyle, and achieve the best life that you can live. Because I mentioned at the start of this video, if you are overweight, out of shape, unhealthy, it's going to limit how much you can make of the life around you. And the better your health, the better the fitness, the greater chance you give yourself. It won't suddenly make you a millionaire. It won't help you win the lottery. But if you're too tired and out of shape that you can't walk to the shops to buy the lottery ticket, it's a start. But the idea being is take care of your health. It is the base to your whole life. If your body fails, you haven't got much else. So take care of it. Use this video to help you to lose weight, get in shape, and improve your life. If you like that video, like the video and subscribe to this channel, and you'll see these videos come out more often, or as soon as they do come out, it'll come up on your feed and you get it sooner. If there's anything you'd like me to go through more from this video or something else, stick it in the comments below and I'll add that to the list of videos to stick them out the sooner, so that you get them. And go out there, make the most of your life, improve your health, and live your life to the best that you can.